All right, man. Peace. So now the Cleveland Cavaliers recently made a very big acquisition, or at least they believe that it's a big acquisition, in acquiring the future Hall of Fame shooting guard, Dwyane Wade. As we all know, Dwyane Wade and LeBron James are very good friends. They've been so since they've come into the NBA. And now this is a reconvening that LeBron seems to hope will revitalize his chances of winning a fourth NBA championship. Let's see what they have to say about it.
How hype are LeBron and D Wade right now getting to play with your boy? And Stephen A., this Cavs team has depth, but how much do they improve?
Well, I think they improved tremendously. Let me say this. Dwyane Wade supposedly is on the downside of his career. Still averaged 18 points per game last year. This brother can play. He's a three-time champion, former league finals, NBA finals MVP.
I think that it's a good pickup for Cleveland. In a Dwyane Wade, you pick up a guy who has a lot of championship experience, championship DNA. He's somebody who can provide some psychological support for LeBron. Let's be for real. The one championship that LeBron won without him, it took about 7 or 8 different variables to come into play. He does need D Wade's counsel and the stability that Dwyane will bring to him in big moments. There's a reason why they brought Dwyane in, because they lost a lot of clutch factor when Kyrie left. So from a psychological standpoint, Dwyane Wade will be a huge benefactor for LeBron and Cleveland. I think that his age will be an issue. His injury problems will be an issue. And the fact that he's not really a three-point shooter, that is also going to be an issue when they face higher level teams, particularly in the Western Conference. Dwyane does have a very 1990s Michael Jordan-esque style of play, mid-range jumper, get to the basket. Of course, since he's hit his mid-30s, he is not as explosive, but he still brings a lot to the table.
From my personal perspective, he's truly one of the best individuals that I've ever met in all of my years of covering professional sports. His core decency as a human being, his kindness, his decency, he's just a good man. It's just that simple. The reason why I bring that last point up, Max, is because Rich Paul, Randy Mims, Maverick Carter, they are who they are. But in terms of guys in a basketball uniform, as tight as CP3 is with LeBron James, he's the godfather of his children, for crying out loud. As tight as LeBron is with Melo, he loves himself some D Wade.
One has to wonder why Stephen A. likes to come on TV and try to qualify the extent or the quality of these different relationships around the league between these players. He doesn't know if LeBron is closer to D Wade than Carmelo Anthony. He doesn't know if LeBron is closer to Carmelo Anthony than Chris Paul. Why is that relevant? Who cares? Stephen A. tries to act like he has certain insight to people's personal life that he doesn't have. And then he gets upset when people like Kevin Durant or Carmelo Anthony lambaste him. He needs to keep it about sports, keep it about basketball. What really is the relevance of any of that?
And D Wade loves him back. And the reason why that's so profound and so important with this analogy that I'm bringing up is because when LeBron James first left Cleveland, people keep focusing on he took his talents to South Beach. They don't really focus in on why he left Cleveland. He was betrayed. There were people who were his teammates who smiled in his face.
We all know what you're talking about.
Who talked behind his back.
Do a little Google search for anyone who doesn't know.
Who talked behind his back.
Who was fucking his mama, right? That's what Max is really alluding to, right? They was talking behind his back about his mama providing fellatio and other sexual favors, allegedly.
Who just flat out betrayed him.
Well, the main person who betrayed him was his mama, all right? Let's bring that to the forefront.
In the worst possible way.
But in a multitude of ways. And so he go.
Look at Max Kellerman. So we just gonna skip over the fact that his mama was sucking dicks, huh?
He goes to Miami, and it's not just about Pat Riley, the winner within, and having an organizational structure, which was very important. It was a guy in Dwyane Wade who is older and who's like a big brother to him. Not just talking to him about and accepting, getting him to embrace and accept the leadership role, but also letting him know you got a brother in me who will never betray you. And he never will, has, and never will, because that's not who D Wade is. And as a result, when you're LeBron James, just imagine being the greatest player in the world on the court every day,
someone
traveling on the road with a guy that's your man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty much the initial point that I brought out in the opening of this video. This is why it was important for them to bring D Wade into the fold. LeBron needs psychological support. I think that they know that. He needs somebody who he knows he can count on in the clutch, because LeBron is not really a clutch jump shooter in the fourth quarter. His style of play is to go all out. A lot of times, fourth quarter, he has trouble converting jump shots and free throws because he's tired. He's a lot like Westbrook in that way. So he needs a D Wade to take a little pressure off of him. D Wade will also take a lot of pressure off of J.R. Smith, who is a live wire mentally. And, you pretty much can platoon D Wade and JR, even though D Wade will most likely be the official starter. Him and JR will probably split the minutes 50-50.
That is what is profound about this, and that is what's going to make Cleveland even more formidable, because they already got the roster. But now D Wade adds it, and JR, I love him dearly. He can ball, he's a streaky shooter. He ain't no D Wade.
Look,
and they have good chemistry.
He ain't no D Wade.
Of course, and I'll let you talk about that, and that you covered that personal relationship very well, I thought. Let me just talk about the basketball of it for a second.
Sure.
Is there a better two-guard when he's healthy than D Wade in the league right now? Like, this is an enormous story on most days, except that as I said, our politics are roiling.
Right now, as far as two guards in the NBA, I don't know if you want to count James Harden as a two guard. He was officially a two guard for a while until they gave him on the ball duties. Right now, with Chris Paul coming onto the team, James Harden is an official two guard. At this point in D Wade's career, no, he's not as good as James Harden. No, I would not put him up there with Klay Thompson. No, I wouldn't put him up there with DeMar DeRozan at this stage of his career. There's only so long or so much that you can talk about the health. It's not really health. It's about attrition. Health is when you're hurt, and when you heal, you're back at the peak of your physical ability. D Wade will never be the guy that he was at 26, 25 years old. He's older. Okay? He's just not as good as those guys that I named. Bradley Beal has a little bit more in the tank than D Wade, but D Wade is a guy who, because of his experience in big spots, of course, I would trust him a lot more than I would Bradley Beal. You have a CJ McCollum. D Wade has a low size on CJ, but CJ has youth, and he's a better outside shooter than D Wade. I mean, I would have to go down the list of guys in the league right now. The shooting guard position is difficult to gauge because the point guard gets so much carte blanche to shoot that the two guard is not as prominent a position on the floor as it once was. I remember I got into it with some silly guy who was trying to go back and forth with me about how Michael Jordan didn't go up against anybody in his era. Michael Jordan went up against multiple Hall of Famers at the shooting guard position in his era. And you're talking about Joe Dumars, Mitch Richmond, Reggie Miller. Then you have a guy who should have been a Hall of Famer like a Reggie Lewis. You have guys like Rolando Blackman, who's a borderline Hall of Famer, for those of you who remember seeing him play. Numerous guys that Jordan had to go against repeatedly who were great players, borderline great players. So, I mean, a lot of times people just don't understand the game. And also, when you guys get the chance, those of you who are not familiar with Michael Jordan's career, in his last 2 years with the Bulls, he got to go against Ray Allen and Kobe Bryant. And look at what he did in those games against them. All right? Don't take my word for it. Look it up.
I would kind of
the
say
NFL
James
and everything.
Harden, but go ahead.
James Harden's really a point guard.
He's not really
Dwayne,
not to me.
Right, he's a combo guard, and with Chris Paul there, and so is Dwayne Wade a combo guard. You're right.
Is just elevated.
James Harden's offense is clearly better than Dwayne Wade's at this point. Right. Dwayne Wade's defense, it's not even close between Dwayne Wade and James Harden defensively.
That's true.
At this point in Dwayne Wade's career, he's not a great defender. That the defensively is closer than you would think between him and James Harden. James Harden, as I've said, can't guard a statue, but Dwayne's defense ain't that good either at this point. I mean, he can give you some in spurts.
That's true.
And in high leverage moments, So those moments where, okay, now let's see the best of what you got. I'll take D Wade over James Harden. High leverage moment in the playoffs. It's not just about being clutch. It's about now you're not an older guy who has to preserve himself. And remember, he's playing two ways, Dwyane Wade, not just saving himself for offense. At these high leverage moments, what can you do? I'm taking Dwyane Wade over James Harden.
I agree with that. And we're going to talk about clutch. Dwyane Wade is definitely far above James Harden. He's a couple levels above James. I had a brother tell me, oh, well, you look at what James has done. He's had a lot of clutch shots. Many of James' clutch performances came in the regular season. As a lead player with the Rockets, his clutch performances have come few and far between, especially in big moments. All right? And I like James. James just does not have the physical conditioning to be a great late game performer in big games because the pace of the game is so much higher. He wears out. And then as the series goes along, he starts to wear out mentally.
I'm taking still. I think I'm taking him over Jimmy Butler. I think I'm taking.
Oh, that's another guy, Jimmy Butler. I forgot. Jimmy Butler is above D Wade clearly. Now, if you want to talk about experience and clutch performances, then of course you're going to pick D Wade.
They just played on the same team. I think I'm taking him over Klay Thompson. Still at those critical moments, I love Dwyane Wade. This is an enormous signing. Stephen A., the biggest transaction of the offseason, except for Paul George, was this. Dwyane Wade's a better player than Carmelo Anthony. If they could redo that draft, Dwyane Wade would go before Carmelo. His whole career he's been better than Carmelo.
I think you're going a little too far. I think you're going just a little bit too far. What I said, they play separate positions and they have different roles. If we want to talk about D Wade and Carmelo, if we just talk about records, Carmelo was making the playoffs every year with the Denver Nuggets. D Wade has had some seasons where his team didn't even make the playoffs. Now we know that coincides with his injury problems. And he did lead his team to a championship, which Carmelo has never done. But that's closer than it looks. I mean, I would probably take D Wade over Carmelo overall because of the career that D Wade has had. But it's hard to compare positions like that. And then the fact that Carmelo was in the Western Conference for a long time.
Carmelo's a great player. Dwyane Wade remains a better player than Carmelo Anthony because of what he could do on both sides of the floor. And I know the defense has also slipped as he's gotten older. But think about the Cavs' offense, the team right now. If Isaiah Thomas comes back as most of what he was with the hip in the second half of the season and has his basketball legs under him for the playoffs, you have Dwyane Wade and Isaiah Thomas in your backcourt with LeBron James and Kevin Love in your front court.
Yes, but what system are they going to play? Are they going to come back playing the same your turn, my turn offense that they were playing last year with Kyrie? They got Kyrie frustrated. Or are they going to play an actual team style of basketball? Once again, when you have a guy like a LeBron James, he's like a black hole, but in a good way because he's so talented. Every team that has him basically just runs the LeBron system. They don't run a team style offense where you get guys involved. It's not a flow offense. It's everything runs through LeBron. If he has another great player, then it's a two-man game. But Tyronn Lue has not shown any ingenuity in regards to play design or play calling. So, I mean, you can have all the pieces you want. If they're not properly utilized, it's not going to benefit the team, at least not well enough to beat the Warriors.
And then Tristan Thompson at the 5, and you got Derrick Rose coming off your bench, heating up like or how about Richard Jefferson, who still somehow is good?
Jefferson,
so much depth.
the whole game. Listen, that's why Cleveland has no excuse. They got two-star lineup.
I'm just saying, everyone, you're talking about the Thunder and everything else. The biggest threat to the Warriors remains, and then they've just closed the gap again. And Jay Crowder. This is a stacked team.
I got you.
Yeah, well, you could be as stacked as you want. It's gonna depend on how their pieces are utilized. All right. But I'm glad that they're laying it out like this because people love to make these erroneous arguments about how undermanned LeBron's teams are and LeBron is carrying this team and that team. No man has played on teams more stacked than LeBron James in the last 7-8 years. No player.
But as great as D Wade can still be, he is not a bigger signing than Carmelo Anthony in Oklahoma City. And here's why. Because D Wade, as great as he can be, is not nearly as needed in Cleveland as Melo was needed in OKC.
And we'll get into that later.
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm just telling you. I heard you speak. I heard your point. Let me get to it. This basketball. Fall back. Here's the deal. You're Oklahoma City. You have no bench, really. Raymond Felton, Patrick Patterson, you have no bench. And two guys, primarily guys that are in your backcourt that are going to be called upon not to just offend with their offense, but defend with their defense, needs additional help. And you need it from the small forward spot. Roberson and Steven Adams ain't going to give it to you. And that's what I'm saying. It's not that Dwyane Wade isn't everything that you said. It's that Cleveland doesn't need him nearly as much as Oklahoma City needed Melo.
Wait.
I agree with that. I agree with everything that Stephen A. said and the reasoning behind why he said it. I believe that he put the argument in its proper context. And he was able to accurately explain why Carmelo's value is higher than D. Wade's. You know, when you compare D. Wade and Carmelo's careers, it's very close. It's close. What gives D. Wade the edge is the fact that he has more championships. But one can argue that his impact is the same as Carmelo's impact on the team. It's just about what each prospective team needs more, or what each respective team needs more from, each respective player. Right now, Carmelo is much more needed on OKC because of the type of offense that they're going to play. I mean, you pretty much know that they're going to be going one-on-one a lot. That is Carmelo's bread and butter. He's just going to have to make quicker decisions. Carmelo's a guy who infuriates you because he takes so long to initiate whatever he's going to do, whether it's pass or try to score. And he has very little feel for the game in regards to making quick decisions. This is what sets D. Wade apart from him.
Wait,
and that's all I'm saying.
In a vacuum, you're right, but let me bring this back to Dwyane Wade. No. There's something called marginal utility. Meaning, what does that mean? Meaning, how much more value do you get from adding each unit of this thing? The Thunder are going to lose to the Warriors. They match up well with their starters. The Warriors are better. The Thunder are not going to be the Warriors. I'm saying that right now, unless there's some catastrophic injury on Golden State. Knock wood, that doesn't happen. No one wishes for that. The Cleveland Cavaliers have a path to the finals, as we all know. Even though Boston got better, they're still favored. They replaced Kyrie's offense with Isaiah Thomas's. That's almost a wash on offense. They added Crowder as an answer for Draymond. Derrick Rose off the bench. And now Dwyane Wade, the marginal utility of Dwyane Wade, a better player, by the way, than Carmelo, brings the Cavs legitimately into the sphere of the Warriors.
No, I wouldn't go there. His statement about Isaiah Thomas replacing Kyrie Irving's offense, I really don't see that. I think that he might score nearly as much as Kyrie does, but you don't worry about Isaiah Thomas as much as you do Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving does so many things. Kyrie Irving just does so many things offensively that petrifies you from the three-point line and in. Now, Isaiah Thomas, he can take it to the rack as well, but you're nowhere near as fearful of him going to the basket as you are Kyrie Irving because of his ability to finish with either hand and draw fouls. He gets your whole team in foul trouble. Isaiah Thomas is a streak scorer. You're worried about that. But if you're Steph Curry, are you more worried about having to guard Kyrie Irving or Isaiah Thomas? And if you're Steph Curry, are you more worried about being guarded by Kyrie Irving or Isaiah Thomas? I don't really think that it's close. In regards to Jay Crowder and Draymond Green, I don't think that that's really close either. I like Jay Crowder. He's a nice role player, but Draymond Green is, like I said, if there's a role player Hall of Fame, he's first ballot. Okay, so it's pretty much going to come down to Kevin Durant and LeBron, and which coach does the better job of coaching. Like I told you guys during the finals coverage that I did, that it was going to come down to coaching, and Tyronn Lue got profoundly outcoached, as Kyrie Irving testified to in his sit-down interview with Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, that he wanted to go to Boston because he wanted to learn new things. What is he really saying? Tyronn Lue has nothing to teach him.
We need to spend more time on this later in the show, because we're not done with this one for sure.
But it's okay. It's good argument.
We'll pick this up.
Well, anyway, let's see what else they have to say about this issue. Okay, so now let's see what Skip and Shannon have to say about the Dwyane Wade acquisition.
Dwyane Wade is reuniting with LeBron James in Cleveland. Reports say the 12-time All-Star will officially sign with the Cavs after he clears waivers later today. Wade reached a buyout agreement with the Bulls and expected to sign a one-year deal for just over $2 million with Cleveland. He won 2 titles and went to 4 straight finals with LeBron in Miami. All right, Shannon.
Wait, are you sure you shouldn't go first on this one?
I'll go last. I'll save my comments for last. How much impact will Wade have in Cleveland?
More than he had going back to Miami.
Ooh.
Wade County!
Ooh.
What is that? Cuyahoga? Cuyahoga.
Yeah.
And we got Wade. So they overlap.
It doesn't
Don't worry about
it. It's Dade County, Wade County. That's why
y'all,
that happened.
y'all have Dade. The Wade by the Wade. Skip, I think it's going to help because clearly he's not the Dwyane Wade that averaged 30 plus in the NBA Finals. He's not the 25, 5-5 guy anymore, Skip. We understand that.
Yeah.
We also understand that he's not going to practice every practice. He's not going to play at every ball game.
No.
I think he played, 60 ball games last year? He'll probably be somewhere around that.
I agree. It's obvious that Dwyane Wade is not going to be the same guy who lit up the NBA Finals, averaged 35 points a game on 30 free throw attempts. There's no doubt that the Heat got some help in that series, but I'll leave that alone. Dwyane Wade was still phenomenal. And as Shannon said, he's not the 25.5 rebound, 5 assist guy anymore. But they don't need that from him right now. This team is so loaded, they just need him to be what he was brought in for, to be a psychological help for LeBron. All right, LeBron is so psychologically fragile, they know that he needs some assistance. He just does. If he feels like everything is on him, what LeBron is going to do when he knows everything is on him is he's just going to go for his numbers so that when people look back, they could say, well, LeBron lost in 5, but, he averaged 40, 10, and 11. So that makes him greater than Jordan. Like, that's really all he's trying to do. LeBron is really the Wilt Chamberlain of this generation. He puts up unbelievable numbers, and he wins a couple of championships, but he doesn't win as many as he should have, or as many as he should have based on how he gets promoted.
He played under 30 minutes for the very first time in his career. But what he can do is provide some of that lack of scoring that you're going to lose by Isaiah Thomas not being there until maybe Christmas or early January. I believe he goes into the starting lineup. J.R. Smith comes off the bench. Now, we know J.R. Smith. He can start. He can come off the bench. He's been 6th man of the year, so he can fit that role. But what this does for Cleveland, Skip, is that it gives them depth. It gives, because what we saw last year in the NBA Finals.
Depth is great as long as you have a great system. If you're playing one-on-one basketball, depth is not really going to help you as much if the guys coming in are trying to play like the starters. The point of having a great offensive system is so that when your great players are not playing that well, your supporting staff, your supporting players have something that they can use as a backbone, as a foundation for how they know that they're going to operate while on the floor. So that guys don't panic too much when LeBron is off the floor. They say, okay, let's run our sets. The problem with Cleveland is that their sets are based too much on one-on-one, beating your man one-on-one. Golden State doesn't have those type of sets. They actually run plays.
Is that, let's just say for the sake of argument, Steph and KD and LeBron and Kyrie played to a draw. But it was the Iguodalas. It was the Livingstons. It was the Klay Thompsons. It was the Draymond Green that gave them the push. So now you have someone, if LeBron is off the court, not only can he score for you, he can also initiate the offense. Because the problem was LeBron couldn't lead the court if they had a lead.
Well, the real problem is, and this is like I've been telling you guys for months, LeBron was trying to find a way to get all his buddies on Cleveland. He was trying to get Chris Paul. He wanted to trade Kyrie for Chris Paul, but that didn't work. So now he got the next best thing. He got his other friend, D. Wade, on the team. That's one of the main reasons why Kyrie wanted to leave. He saw that LeBron just had too much say, and he didn't want to play on a team where the guy who's supposed to be his teammate is actually his GM.
And if he wasn't on, they couldn't dig into the lead if he wasn't on the court. So now you have a guy. I like this, Kip. They really have 2 starting 5 that's going to possibly be coming off the bench. And that's gonna. I'm not worried about Boston. I mean, I've never seen anything like what's going on in the East, Skip. I really believe I can make a roster in the East. I really believe that, Skip. Because I've never seen anything like it. Because everybody.
Well, you probably could be a physical trainer for one of them teams, but you damn sure couldn't play. I mean, what you going to do? You going to get on the floor with a tight-ass jersey on? We know everything you wear got to be tight.
And what else? Where else can. So for the bang for the buck and what he provides, LeBron knows it. Best friends, knows where he likes the ball. No, oh man. Woo! Get ready to the final, LeBron.
We going back, baby. Get it ready. Get our room ready. You know the suite I like.
8 in a row. 8 in a row.
I'll give you this about the Cleveland roster. It is extremely experienced, and it's really old.
Absolutely. Their roster's really old. And that's going to be a problem, especially for a team that, once again, does not run a real offense. Everything with them is one-on-one. You look at a guy like J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is, if he's not 30, he's right there. Like, J.R. Smith came into the league, came into the NBA straight out of high school. And I believe he came in like 03 or 04. One of them years he came in. Somewhere between 03 and 05. So JR, he's right at 30 if he's not 30 already. D Wade is an old 34. All right. He's an old 33, 34 because he got a lot of mileage on him, a lot of collisions on him, a lot of years where he used to hit the ground for no reason on him. Remember that time period in Miami, like 05, 06, where every time D Wade went to the basket, he threw himself on the ground? Like, that shit comes back on you later on in your career. LeBron is 33, going to be 33, but he has a lot of mileage on him, man. A guy like LeBron, one day, them tires are just going to fly off the wheel. It's not going to be gradual with LeBron. Something just going to fly off the wheel on him. And, a lot of the other guys that they're not that experienced. You look at a guy like Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is damn near 30. And he's 5'9" with a bad hip. So, they look really good on paper. Richard Jefferson, that motherfucker damn near ready to collect Social Security. And I don't know if they're bringing back Bogut or not. But, they look good on paper.
It's just getting older by the day. It's okay. It's okay.
That's okay. We like fine wine. Take a sip. Stop hating.
15th year for Dwyane Wade. 15th year for LeBron James.
LeBron.
A lot of basketball.
But LeBron like he's the 8th year. He plays like it.
I'm going to have to give this up to you today. Anybody who knows me on the shows I've been on various networks, especially the old network, knows how big a believer I am in one Dwyane Wade.
So am I. As I've already stated, Dwyane Wade is closer to Kobe Bryant than Kobe is to Michael Jordan. Okay? A lot of people might not like that, but it is the case. Dwyane Wade is closer to Kobe Bryant than Kobe Bryant is to Michael Jordan. Do I think that Dwyane Wade is as good as Kobe Bryant? No, I do not. I'm not saying that. But I will say this. Kobe Bryant in his life has never had a finals performance like Dwyane Wade had. Never in his life. All right? His finals performance in 2006 was up there, was Jordan-esque. Okay? In my lifetime, the greatest finals performances that I've ever seen were most of the Jordan finals performances, especially the first three against the Lakers, the Trailblazers, and the Suns. And the Hakeem Olajuwon performance in '95, where the whole playoffs he was killing guys. He killed David Robinson, he killed Karl Malone, he killed Barkley, and then the finals he just destroyed Shaq. All right, so Dwyane Wade's performance in the 06 finals was up there with those performances. Kobe in his career has never had anything close to that. In 09 against Orlando, he was very, very good, but nothing close. So, yes, do I believe that Dwyane Wade is closer to being on the level or as good as Kobe Bryant, closer than Kobe is to being on the level with Jordan? Yes, I do.
Beyond LeBron James, I'm a believer in Dwyane Wade. And even though he will turn 36 years of age in January, and even though I'm told his knees are basically bone on bone without much cartilage, you can remedy that if you go to Germany. Maybe he went to Germany. I don't know.
Yeah, head over to Germany like Kobe Bryant did, Get a little blood cycling, some new cartilage, a couple little magic injections, a couple magic pills here and there, allegedly. Come on back to the States.
But he's got knee issues.
Add a little something to that thing. They add a little something to it. Put a little spin on that thing, George.
See, Shannon know.
Whatever. Yeah. They had some good things, too.
Yeah.
Stem cells.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
little something. Little something in that bag.
But Kobe went to Germany. Helped a little bit.
Oh, it helped a lot. Kobe went to Germany at the end of that 2012 season when he embarrassed himself in the playoffs against OKC, where he literally lost 2 games in that series for him. A series that I believe they lost, and did they lose in 5 or 6 in 2012 against OKC? He goes over to Germany. He gets to that little injection, whatever process they did. Comes back, he has the best regular season that I can remember him having in a long time in the 2012-2013 season. He goes back to jumping over people. And eventually, the tire came off the wheel against Golden State, ironically enough. Tire came right off the wheel with about 2 games left in the season. Things that make you go,
Could help Dwyane a little bit. But he's still got rickety knees that come and they go.
Right.
And they were rickety in 2014 when my Spurs blew those Heat off the floor by a record margin in that finals in 5 games. But that detonated. I'm going to take my talents out of South Beach and I'm going home, right? That's what happened.
Well, LeBron like a bird. He flies north or south for the winter, meaning when things get tough. That's just his nature.
But now Dwyane is reuniting with LeBron James, and I'm going to give this up to you today. I think it'll be really, really good for LeBron James on and off the floor.
Yes.
Absolutely. Right. LeBron is one of those guys, like I've been saying, he needs that psychological support because he is very fragile.
Yes.
Dwyane taught LeBron a lot about how to win at this level, especially at the championship level, because Dwyane Wade is a natural-born winner. Everywhere he has gone, except last year in Chicago, good things have happened.
Right.
Good things happened at Marquette.
Got him to the Final Four, didn't he?
Yeah. He's just one of those guys.
Dwyane Wade was phenomenal at Marquette. I remember when he made that Final Four run. He was unbelievable. Explosive, everything.
He's undersized. I don't think he's like 6'4.5", maybe 6'4"-ish. I don't know.
Dwyane's probably, with no shoes on, probably about 6'3". 6'3 and a quarter. With shoes on, he's about 6'4.5". Jordan, for example, is listed as 6'6". With no shoes on, he's about 6'4.5", 6'4 3/4.
I don't know, but he plays big.
Yep.
And he became LeBron's big brother, his mentor, his better judgment. He had the capability. He was the only one who had the capability of saying, LeBron, time out, calm down, sit down, think this through. How about this? Maybe you should try that. Mm-hmm. He couldn't save him in the 2011 finals. Yeah.
Stop bringing that up.
Well, I have to.
Yeah, got to keep bringing that up. When you have something like that on your record, that can never be omitted from the record as a blemish. Like, that's why it's laughable when people try to compare him to Jordan. Like 2011, he had a mental breakdown, right? And I've mentioned this before. Allegedly, it was because of his wife possibly having an affair with what's this guy, Rashard Lewis. All right, those were the allegations. How true that is or not, who knows? I'm inclined to believe it. I'm also inclined to believe that it's possible that, that they turn the switch off on LeBron. By the way, not to digress, but one of the terms that's used for trauma-based mind control subjects is chosen one. All right. In the MK Ultra circles, they call the trauma-based mind control assets chosen ones. It is what it is. Am I saying that he necessarily, definitely is one? I'm not saying that. When you look at his background, coming from a broken household, who knows? It is what it is.
Have to, because that was the one time Dwyane couldn't save it from himself, because that was a meltdown, biggest superstar meltdown I'd ever seen. But still, they won 2 rings together. Cannot take that away. And I believe that this re-tilts the East back toward Cleveland. I told you I thought Boston had the edge with Kyrie. And just because Dwyane is there as the conscience for LeBron James on and off the floor, I'm not sure how much Dwyane can add on the floor, but just because they have such a deep connection.
Yes.
So look at what he did last year. And I thought it would be good for Dwyane to go home. He went home to Chicago, obviously. Right. And I thought he was going to end it there, close it out, Jordan-esque fashion. Not that they're going to win a championship, but that he would have a nice last hurrah to his career. So what did he do? He averaged 18 points last year. Not bad, but it was the worst since his rookie year. He shot a career low 43%. Not too pretty. And he averaged a career lowest 4 assists a game. He played a career lowest 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, but when you look at those type of stats, number one, you expect those stats to go down, especially his efficiency stats as he gets older. But when you look at a guy like him, who normally takes very good shots, when he's shooting 43%, that normally is indicative of a very poor offense. With LeBron, I would expect his shooting percentage to go up at least 5 percentage points, back up to about 47, 48, maybe even 49%.
And guess what? He took 16 shots a game, which were the second on the Bulls, to Jimmy Butler, who took only 17 a game. So look, Dwyane's still jacking it up and averaging 18 a game, worse since his rookie year. Well, that's not a good formula to fit in with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I'm just figuring he will figure it out.
Well, the thing is, who else was going to take the shots? It was just basically he and Jimmy Butler. And he understands that LeBron, he'll be third on that picking order because it's going to be LeBron and Kevin Love. And Ty Lue says...
And I don't know where Isaiah Thomas fits into this equation.
Thank you, sir. This is why I said this before. When they made that trade for Isaiah Thomas is he's not a meek dude. He's not a guy who's just going to fall back into the background. So when he comes back, I mean, look, there's only one basketball out there on the floor. And Isaiah Thomas is pretty much going to be relegated to a guy who they expect to make wide open jumpers because they're not going to have him handling the ball over LeBron. LeBron is not an off the ball player. LeBron is not a guy who's going to sit out there and wait for somebody to kick him out a pass. All right, that's just not how he plays. LeBron is he's a very ball-centric player. So it's going to be interesting to see how Isaiah Thomas fits into that whole scheme.
Because I'm just not sure his hip is going to get right.
And even if it does, Skip, he's going to be so far behind. How do you integrate him into the offense, 2 months into the season? But the thing is, Skip, you have to lessen some of the load on LeBron. Not only did he play the most minutes on the Cavaliers, he played the most minutes in the NBA. Now, we saw no ill effects because he averaged 30 for the playoffs. He averaged a triple-double for the NBA Finals. So clearly, he can handle that workload. But we're trying to get another 5 years out.
Yeah, but Shannon, it's not about how many points LeBron averaged for the finals. How did what he do affect their chances of winning games? All right? LeBron had a very Jerry West type finals, a very Wilt Chamberlain type of finals. Yeah, he put up gaudy numbers, but did how he play improve their chances of beating a team that was better than them? When you look at great players, when they go in the finals where where they are the underdog, how does their play affect their overall chances of winning championships? People come on and they make these statements. Oh, Jordan and his teams, they were the favorites in all their finals. No, they were not. The Bulls were not the favorites against. They were not the favorites against the Utah Jazz in Jordan's last season with the Bulls. All right, they were not the favorites. I would have to look at some of the other finals, but I know for a fact they were not the favorites there, and I don't believe that they were the favorites to beat the Lakers or the Phoenix Suns, who won more games than them that year. Phoenix won more games than Chicago. All right, but the style of play that Jordan exhibited was conducive to them beating teams that were prognosticated to be better than them. So LeBron decided that he was going to go out against Golden State and go balls to the wall and get his. And that's why, in the post game, that's all he did was brag about how he's doing his job. All right. That's why I call LeBron he's an actor. He talks all that team shit, but he's really mostly just about his own personal legacy. And Kyrie saw through a lot of that shit. And that's why Kyrie said, you know what? I'm good. I'm out. I'm going to go find my own path because I can't sit here behind this guy and have my legacy tied to him when I can go build my own and, do it in my own way as opposed to just being a background performer for this guy who really does not care about me anyway.
So what we're going to try and do, we're going to try to manage his minutes somewhere between 30 and 33. We're going to take about 4 to 5 minutes a game.
Are you now like part of the brain trust?
Yes.
You have input into the decision?
Because we want another NBA title, Finals MVP, and we want another regular season MVP. And when we're done, we want the all-time leading scoring record. So we want all that. So we want to have this serious discussion about this Mount Rushmore. And then is he in the number 2 slot or is he in George's spot?
Lord have mercy.
I'm just saying.
You've gone completely over the edge.
Skip.
All right, back to reality.
Yeah, Shannon don't even believe that dumb shit. He's talking. After this season, we want to make sure that, we have LeBron over Kareem. Because, shit, look how sexy he is.
You want to talk, we just talked about the true friendship between Shannon Sharpe and Ray Lewis. The even truer friendship to me is Dwyane Wade and LeBron James, because this is the shocker to me. I thought what happened in 2014, you were there in Miami.
I was.
I thought the bridge got burned all the way to the ground, because it wasn't until the night before the I'm going home was announced in Sports Illustrated. It wasn't until the night before that LeBron James shockingly informs his best friend, Dwyane Wade, I'm out. You're leaving me? And guess why? Deuce. Guess why, Deuce? Guess why? Because LeBron decided he can't help me anymore.
That's all it was about. That's all it was about. And look, I don't begrudge LeBron that. LeBron is a me-first guy in regards to his legacy. I think that he feels like his relationship with D-Wade is close enough and tight enough that D-Wade will understand. And if he doesn't, he'll get over it. But that is LeBron in a nutshell. If you can't help me, I'm leaving or you're leaving. And, the people who are business-oriented, bottom-line guys, that's what you expect. Like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing. The thing is, just don't come at me with this is a family atmosphere jargon, because it's not.
More. Knees are too shot. We just got blown off the floor by the Spurs, and I need more help.
I said it, Pat Riley.
Well, he was.
He won't let me have my people around, and I want my mom to be front row, front and center.
I told LeBron, how you going to be there all up down there in Miami and, I can't come to the game? I want to sit right behind you on the sideline. If I can't sit behind you and look at the back of your sexy ass head, something got to be done. We need to go back to Cleveland.
All right, but and I know LeBron is all about how much help do I have, and I don't have enough here.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to go join forces with that kid Kyrie, because he's a special young talent, and I think I got enough in Cleveland that I can still win the East.
Benedict Arnold.
Well, that's what I thought Dwyane would say about LeBron.
No.
Well, yes, I did. And I know some people who are close with Dwyane, and they were all shocked that Dwyane didn't part ways. Now, Dwyane can be a pretty shrewd operator. He knows that long term, he needs to continue to be aligned with LeBron for business purposes. And
that's a pretty good angle that Skip is picking there. But I also think that Dwyane looked at it and said, you know what, I'm not mad at LeBron. LeBron has his sights set on higher things than I do, and that I can help him with. And and Dwyane also comes off to me as a loyal person. I don't know him. I could be wrong, but when I see his conduct and his countenance, that's how he comes off to me as.
In his second career.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you believe LeBron fulfilled his obligation to the Miami Heat by playing 4 years? He didn't ask to be traded. Remember, he was a free agent. He doesn't have 2 years left on his contract with an option like a certain party.
Joy Taylor at the very first big fan fest at American Airlines Arena, that fateful day when the announcer sort of teed up LeBron, and the announcer said not one, and he said, LeBron jumped in, not two, not three, not 4, 5, 6, and he went all the way to not 7.
You don't got to tell me about that. I was there. I was there. I had on a spandex number 23 jersey. I was in the crowd saying not 12, not 13, not 14. I think my baby can win 15, 16 championships. Shit.
He's gone to 7 straight finals.
Oh! But what happened to Miami? So did he fulfill that obligation to the Miami Heat? Nope, he did not. And he left them in a lurch. And Pat Riley will never forgive LeBron James for that, because all of a sudden, Pat Riley is stuck. And what did he have to do a few days later? He had to way overpay to keep Chris Bosh in Miami. He had to give him the max.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Good.
Good.
You see what Bron does?
Yeah.
Bron, they call it Robin Hood. He makes sure everybody get their money.
Really?
Tristan got his money.
Yeah,
JR got his money.
Wait, Robin Hood gets his money too, because he's never taken less than the max.
No. He played for way less than the max. First of all, if you were to play LeBron James his value, they couldn't afford it.
I agree with that. And Skip Bayless got a lot enough talking shit. Skip Bayless getting damn near $6 million a year to talk shit on TV every day and be wrong 70% of the damn time. Get the hell out of here.
In Cleveland. Okay, they couldn't afford him. Only a handful of teams could afford him. The Clippers, Steve Ballmer because he's worth about 20.
Could do what Tim Duncan did and say,
No, we're not doing
play
that.
for like $4 million
No.
a year, so that you'd have extra cap money.
Nope.
So, novel idea.
No.
But
We're not doing that shit. I got to go on my shopping sprees, you know. LeBron get a cut in his check, I get a cut in mine, you know. I got to, you know, I like to go out there and buy, you know, nice suits so that me and Bron can walk down the street looking like a power couple, you know.
Yeah, but
no,
not for
no,
LeBron.
No, because
so LeBron complains, I don't have enough help. I
well,
don't have enough help.
he thought about doing that, and then he saw that when he gave money back, the Heat were jacking up the ticket prices. He said, well, I'm giving up money, and you charging more, so that means I'm making less, you making more. That doesn't make sense to me.
I agree with that, and beyond that, LeBron understood that his time with the Heat had reached its end. Everything with Miami had reached its pinnacle. It was going to be on the downside, and LeBron, being a good businessman, recognized that and said, you know what, a great business decision would be to go back to Cleveland and repair that damage, that breach that I committed and performed with Middle America. I have a huge demographic there that I need to pay attention to and recalibrate, you know, come back together with, reconvene with, and change my image, you know, from a me first image to a more loving image, you know, coming back and trying to repair the damage that I did psychologically to that entire state, that entire region.
You know.
So let's hear from a real Miami Heat fan named Joy Taylor.
She's
Let's hear.
She's a Cleveland fan. Now,
No,
come
no,
on, Joy.
No, I mean, I'm devastated. I really thought he
Yeah.
was going to come back to Miami.
You know what? I did
career
too.
there.
I did too. It would have been a nice story.
It would have been a nice story.
I'm not surprised that he didn't come back. D Wade has fallen out with Pat Riley. I think that Pat Riley looked at D Wade as a snake for siding with LeBron over Miami. Pat Riley is a lot like Bill Belichick in that he looks at the team that he's associated with as like a mafia. And he does not take kindly to people who turn against the family, per se. And D Wade understands that. He understood that he showed that he was going to side with LeBron the moment that he didn't help Pat Riley bring LeBron back. All right? That's why I say D Wade is a loyal dude. You can kind of tell that. But I'm not surprised he did not go back to Miami. The next time that D Wade will most likely be in Miami is when they make that statue for him outside of the that arena that they playing down there.
Story.
Yeah.
As a fan, it kills me. It was like getting punched in the stomach. It makes me sick.
Come here.
But I've got a feeling without you doing that. But you know, as a broadcaster, I understand where he's coming from, and he has the right to do whatever he wants with his career. But speaking for Heat fans, it sucks.
Look at the happiness. Look at that man's face. Look how happy he looks when he's with
because
LeBron.
Cleveland-
Look at how happy he looked. That man hadn't looked that happy since me and him renewed our vows last week. I love when my baby smile like that. You know, looking like a donkey. I love it. We look like two donkeys together. Hee-haw.
Cleveland fans
Wait,
in
is
Miami-
that from today? They already took that picture?
No.
Oh, it's an old picture.
But I'm saying he's like,
Oh.
oh man,
Cleveland fans and Miami fans have a real rivalry, obviously.
Yeah.
So it stinks for Heat fans. It really does. But we love Wade, and was a part of every championship that the Heat have. So it can't be
now
good.
you know how Cleveland fans felt when he went down to Miami, huh?
But Mr. Sharp.
No, we already got that when LeBron left.
Exactly.
Correct.
But Heat fans didn't have a problem with him going to Chicago. We all understood it. He sacrificed a lot for the Heat franchise. And
So
left
you,
money
so
on
you
the table.
understand? So you understand this?
No, I do not. I do not approve. I do not approve.
But anyway, this was the coverage of D Wade going to sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers and be with LeBron. It is what it is. Anyway,